So college football has officially begun, and what that means is that the process of scouting quarterbacks in the NFL draft has also begun. So I've been tracking 11 quarterbacks through this college football season. I'm really excited to watch a couple guys. I want to see how people develop into NFL quarterbacks. And so this week I want to share my thoughts on Will Grier, Jarrett Stidham, Jake Browning, Justin Herbert, Drew Locke from Missouri, JT Daniels, Tua Tagovailoa, and a few other quarterbacks. And I'm just going to break them down, share my thoughts, just my honest reaction. Do they look good? Do they look bad? Do they look like NFL quarterbacks? Why or why not? So I want to start with a guy who completely surprised me and came out of nowhere. I want to talk about Steven Montez, the junior quarterback out of the University of Colorado. See, against Colorado State, Steven Montez was 22 for 25 at 338 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and an interception, and I was blown away. I did not expect this guy to be as good as he was. And he had a great deep ball. He looked incredibly efficient. I was so surprised. Now, you got to remember, take all this with a grain of salt. Steven Montez played against Colorado State, who's a Mountain West team. He's supposed to absolutely dominate them. But I think this was the surprise of the weekend, was the way that Steven Montez played for Colorado. It was just, man, it was surprising. He's now on my radar. I wasn't going to pay any attention to Steven Montez, the quarterback from Colorado, until I saw this game. And I was like, wow. His deep ball's great. He looks good running. He looks good moving around the pocket. I was so impressed with Steven Montez, the Colorado quarterback. And it's worth noting that his team ran for 258 yards on 40 carries. So they had a really balanced offense. He wasn't asked to carry the offense passing, but he also wasn't a guy just handing the ball off every play. It's a balanced offense for Colorado. And in the post-game interview, he looked incredibly comfortable. I'd never seen the guy talk before. I'd never met him. He's not a guy I'm very familiar with. And Steven Montez, man, he's a new guy to get on your radar. He looks like a fantastic quarterback. Only one game in. There's still time. We got to see a lot more down the road. But he looked really good last Friday night for Colorado. I want to talk about Will Grier. Will Grier is the senior quarterback at West Virginia. And he reminded me a little bit of the former Boise State quarterback, Kellen Moore. I mean, he's got average arm strength. It's not great, but he's got great footwork. And look, Will Grier rarely makes the wrong decision for West Virginia. So he was 25 for 34 passing at 429 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and that's playing against an SEC defense in Tennessee. He just executed his offense. He did his job over and over and over again. And when I saw this, what I really thought of was, this is who the New England Patriots should draft. The Patriots should find a way to get Will Grier behind Tom Brady next year, because he would excel in the Patriots offense. What I really liked is he repeatedly kept just identifying the right matchup. He'd go, okay, that's a mismatch, I'm going to throw it up. He identified one-on-one coverage all the time. And he just threw up a lot of 50-50 balls. This is where I'm less encouraged. I felt kind of neutral about this. We didn't see Will Grier throw guys open as much as he just kind of threw the ball up and his receivers made plays. And I wanted to note that his receivers did a lot of the heavy lifting for Will Grier. There was one really negative thing I saw from Will Grier I thought was worth mentioning. It was just a really bad decision, bad time management, bad ball management before the halftime. His team was in field goal range, and he decided to run around and do he just tried to do too much. He almost took a sack. They would have been out of field goal range. He almost let the clock run out. It was just a bad play all around, just bad management. But Will Grier did get lucky, and I hope he learned from that. At the end of the half, if you're in field goal range, don't take a sack, don't run around, throw the ball away, just do the responsible thing. And I think it's worth noting, just Will Grier tries to run too much. He thinks he's more of an athlete than he really is. He needs to learn to slide around in the pocket and stay calm. But all in all, I felt really positive. I loved what Will Grier showed, and it was a really positive performance for him. He looked really good. I want to now talk about Jarrett Stidham, the quarterback, the junior quarterback from Auburn. So Jarrett Stidham played the University of Washington. He was 26 for 36, had 273 yards and a touchdown. What I liked about Jarrett Stidham was he just looked poised. And this was a big moment. They played Washington. It was 9-6, a number 9 ranked team in the nation versus a number 6 ranked team in the nation. He just looked comfortable. He looked like the moment was not too big for him, and that is so encouraging if you're Auburn. Because again, Auburn has so many tough battles ahead, and the fact that their quarterback looks comfortable now is really positive. He was really patient. He didn't force throws. He was willing to check down to the running backs. If there was nothing open, Jarrett Stidham didn't force the ball into situations. And what I really was impressed with, they ran a trick play. They ran a flea flicker. And normally quarterbacks get it and they're like, I'm throwing it no matter what, because that's how the play is designed. Jarrett Stidham didn't force it in. It wasn't open. It wasn't there. And he went and ran. He got positive yards and got a first down anyways. That is so huge, is the restraint that Jarrett Stidham showed, not forcing the ball into bad situations. He had this really great pass on the first drive. He threw this NFL-level fade pattern that I just was so impressed with. Now, there was a negative that I saw from Jarrett Stidham. He just had a lot of cheap completions. He's not running an NFL offense. He's running a lot of bubble screens and little short, dinky passes. But he does handle pressure really well. And that's encouraging. You watch the way Jarrett Stidham deals with pressure in his face. He slides around. He moves around very comfortably, kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo does, actually. So I was very encouraged watching Jarrett Stidham. Let's now talk about Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback from Alabama, the sophomore quarterback. This guy's Russell Wilson. Tua Tagovailoa is fantastic. He's so fascinating and fun to watch. I don't know. I'm excited for Alabama because they finally have an NFL-level starting quarterback. Every year it's like, Jake Coker, Jalen Hurts is an NFL quarterback. A.J. McCarron's hardly an NFL quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa is a first-round draft pick. He's a fantastic quarterback. He's the best quarterback Nick Saban has ever had. And the game just looks easy for him. I mean, it's like he's playing in slow motion. Guys can't tackle him. He runs really well. And I want to make I know that Tua Tagovailoa is a left-handed quarterback. I know that he's a really big running guy, but he's not Tim Tebow. I've heard that a lot. People are like, Tua looks like Tim Tebow the way he runs and throws. Just because he's left-handed, don't compare him to Tim Tebow. He looks like Russell Wilson. You can't he's really slippery. He escapes really well. He's got a better arm than Tim Tebow. And I'm so encouraged and excited to watch Tua Tagovailoa down the road. Now, against Louisville, Tua was 12 for 16, 227 yards, had a touchdown running, had 2 touchdowns passing. And, man, he's just a future first-round pick. Tua Tagovailoa is just a fantastic, fantastic quarterback. And, it's very possible. If he stays at Alabama, they could win 4 in a row. That's how good he is. I also watched Justin Herbert, the quarterback from Oregon. I was not impressed. I was actually really discouraged watching Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was 10 for 21, 281 yards passing. He did have 5 touchdowns. Awesome. I had a rushing touchdown. But it was an ugly game for Justin Herbert. I mean, he had 2 interceptions. He looked bad. They're playing Bowling Green, and he looked here's the word I would use. Justin Herbert did not look precise. He kind of sprayed the ball all over the place, had some really ugly incompletions. Again, 2 interceptions against a bad, lower-level team, mid-major. You shouldn't do that. And I hear people all the time say that, Justin Herbert might be a first-round pick. And they talk about his big play ability. And that's great. I'm happy he makes big plays. But big plays don't impress me as much as precision. That's what an NFL quarterback does, is they're consistently accurate. I think people are getting a little too caught up with the fact that, Justin Herbert's 6'6", 233, rather than the fact that he's a great, accurate starting quarterback. I mean, I don't see precision. I don't see accuracy. I don't see the things I would love to see from a guy like Justin Herbert. I don't think he's a first-round pick. I know that people are really excited about him, but right now, I'm not sold. I don't see what everyone else sees from him, and I'm not buying Justin Herbert yet. We'll see what happens, but right now, he does not look as good as everyone kind of sells him to be. Now, Jake Browning, the quarterback from Washington, he's a senior, and I think he's an NFL backup at best. I'm not impressed with Jake Browning. Look, he was 18 for 32 against Auburn, had 296 yards, which that's cool, sure. Had a 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but here's the thing with Jake Browning. Jake Browning has average arm strength. He's average footwork. But the worst thing that Jake Browning does, he's not good in big moments. When the pressure's on, he just doesn't handle it very well. He threw a really boneheaded interception on Saturday. I think the athletes all around Jake Browning at University of Washington really help him and kind of pad his stats. But I'm not impressed with Jake Browning. I never have been. I've never really believed in him, and he continued my thought. He didn't look like he improved. He looked like a guy who, same old guy. He's kind of an Andy Dalton level quarterback where he can win you games. He's not awful. But in the big moment when the bright lights come on, Jake Browning's not the guy you want playing quarterback for you. Let's talk about Shea Patterson. Shea Patterson is a junior quarterback at Michigan. Shea Patterson is not an NFL quarterback. He was 20 for 30, had 227 yards against Notre Dame, no touchdowns, an interception. Here's the thing. Shea Patterson's just not accurate enough. You're growing up at quarterback camps, everyone would always tell you, aim small, miss small. So instead of aiming for a guy's body, aim for a really tiny spot on his chest. You aim for the button on his shirt, and then you hit somewhere around there. Shea Patterson just doesn't seem to understand that. He throws the ball in the general direction of a guy rather than at a guy's hands. Some quarterbacks have much better ball placement than Shea Patterson. You watch a guy like Will Grier. Will Grier hits his guy in the hands every time. Shea Patterson just isn't accurate enough. Not to mention he's got a weak arm. He's kind of like Johnny Manziel, honestly, where his best trait is his ability to kind of squiggle out of things and run around. He's not really top-end speed. He doesn't have a lot of... he doesn't have a great arm, doesn't have an accurate arm. He's not really fast. I don't know what you can say that Shea Patterson does well because he doesn't do anything well. He's kind of a 6 out of 10 in every aspect. I don't know. I think that Shea Patterson could be a really good college quarterback, but NFL, no. If you're looking at Shea Patterson from an NFL perspective, he's not an NFL quarterback. And people always say he's Johnny Manziel without the off the field issues. Well, against Notre Dame, he had only 58 yards passing. I know he's dealing with cramping, but still, it just Shea Patterson's a solid college quarterback. Not much else. How about Drew Locke? Drew Locke could very well be the number 1 quarterback chosen in the NFL draft next year. But I didn't see anything we could really take away from his first game. Drew Locke played University of Tennessee Martin, which is a Division I AA school, not really competitive. He was 19 for 25, 4 touchdowns, no picks. But the level of competition, there's not much you can take away from it. Physically, he looked good. He's 6'4", 225. I think he throws the best deep ball in all of college football, without a doubt. His arm is huge. But tall with a big arm, that's not enough for me to say, oh, you look like an NFL quarterback right now. So I just kind of feel neutral about Drew Locke. We can't really take away anything from his performance this week. It's just not much you can share. How about JT Daniels? JT Daniels is a true freshman quarterback from USC, and I love this kid. I'm so excited. This kid should be a senior in high school, but he reclassified so he could go to college a year early. That's unheard of. Nobody does that. But, so his first start against UNLV was really, really encouraging. I loved it. I thought that JT Daniels might struggle a little bit, and that was not the case at all. He was 22 for 35, had 282 yards passing and 1 touchdown, and just, I don't know, to some degree you could say that JT Daniels looked like a game manager, which means he's just handing off the ball and really protecting the football. But he took some big shots. Him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, his best quarterback, connected 7 times, I think for 98 yards. It was a big deal. JT Daniels looks like a phenom. And what I would do is I would compare JT Daniels to Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm was Georgia's starting quarterback last year. He started as a true freshman. And I think JT Daniels looks better, like a lot better. He's got a better arm. He makes quicker decisions. I really firmly believe JT Daniels is the next big thing in college football. How about Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow is the quarterback at LSU. And so he really just had one encouraging half. He had an encouraging first half against Miami, and LSU got really conservative. I didn't believe in him after that. But if he's the real deal, if Joe Burrow is the real deal for LSU, that's a huge, huge deal for their program. Again, he was only 11 for 24, had 140 yards, but the first half got my attention. That's what I wanted to say about Joe Burrow is I don't know that he's going to be great. We'll give him 4 games to really see if he settles in. But if he's the real deal for LSU, he's got 2 years of eligibility. That would be a fantastic, fantastic move for their program. Now, there's 2 guys I was really disappointed in. I was so excited to watch Arizona's quarterback Khalil Tate against BYU, and he just was a massive, massive disappointment. I thought the new head coach at Arizona, Kevin Sublin, would help Khalil Tate a little more. It just wasn't the case. I thought he was a potential Heisman candidate, and he just looked meh. Here's the thing. Khalil Tate's strength is running. He only had 14 yards rushing. He only ran 8 times, had a touchdown, but 14 yards? He was 17 for 34 passing with 197 yards and a touchdown. Khalil Tate was just disappointing. I don't know that I'm going to track him anymore. I thought he might be a potential Heisman candidate, but he struggled against BYU, and that's really, really discouraging. Now, there's one person I left off the list. I did not talk about the Ohio State quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. He's a solid college quarterback. That's about it. He doesn't throw at an NFL level. And if you look at Urban Meyer's quarterbacks over the years, there's only been one that was a good NFL quarterback, and that is Alex Smith. But the rest of the guys, you have Tim Tebow, Cardell Jones, who just got cut, Braxton Miller, who got cut, JT Barrett just got cut in the NFL. A bunch of guys that have never really been successful in the NFL. Only one ever, Alex Smith, his first quarterback, has been successful in the NFL. So I don't believe in Dwayne Haskins. He's not really worth paying attention to because he's not really an NFL quarterback. So to recap, the West Virginia quarterback, Will Grier, had a really positive performance this week. Auburn's quarterback, Jarrett Stidham, had a positive performance. Jake Browning, University of Washington's quarterback, had a negative performance. Justin Herbert, Oregon's quarterback, had a negative performance. Drew Locke, Missouri's quarterback, is just neutral. He played at Division I AA school. Not a lot you can take away there. He's supposed to dominate. Shea Patterson, Michigan's quarterback, had a negative first start. It didn't look good. I'm going to give Joe Burrow a first half positive, second half neutral. LSU got really conservative. I don't want to put that all on Joe Burrow, but his first half looked unbelievable. Khalil Tate, Arizona's quarterback, had a negative performance. Alabama's quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, had a positive performance. JT Daniels, I'm going to give a positive score. And Colorado's quarterback, Steven Montez, was the breakout of the week. I did not expect him to do well, and he had an incredibly positive performance for the University of Colorado. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Zach Schaumler. This is my show, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my pride and joy. I'm very proud of it. If you're new to Strong Opinion Sports, you can subscribe to it on iTunes, SoundCloud, on YouTube. You can find the full entire hour-long podcast on YouTube, or you can find more shorter breakout videos like the one you just watched. And if you like what I had to say, maybe you hate what I had to say, share this with your friends. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about the show. My name is Zach Schaumler. Have a great day.